All right, Coach. I'm Brandon Helwig. I cover UCF for Rivals.com. Welcome to UCF. Just kind of talk us through this decision you made. Obviously, you've got a prior relationship with Coach Malzahn from your Auburn days, and just talk about your decision to come here and coordinate the UCF defense.
Well, I'm very fortunate to be here, to be at a program like this that's on the rise with a guy that I've worked with before and have a lot of respect for and also admiration. And we were a pretty good team when we were together, and it's good to be back with him.
Coach, you talked a little bit. I mean, you come in here and you know right off the bat that the big focus is stopping the run. That's something UCF struggled with. What is your philosophy when it comes to how do you see a defense being able to stop a run when you're looking at it?
If you can't stop the run, you can't win. It's as simple as that. And there's going to be times when everybody knows they're going to run it, and you've got to stop it to win. And if a team can run the football against you, that demoralizes your whole football team. So it's something that we place but that hadn't changed since football was invented. That's not like that's a new theory. I mean, you got to stop the run to win. And obviously people get more one-dimensional, and if you make them more one-dimensional, they become more predictable, which puts us in advantageous positions to put our playmakers in good positions. So, that's something that every defensive coordinator in America that's at a press conference right now is talking about stopping the run and being aggressive and attacking. But so much of that is a mindset too. And, to establish the right mindset that we're going to attack and we're going to be aggressive. And, we know we've got to do that to win football games, and we'll commit as many defenders as it takes to do that. Because, now with the evolution of the quarterback run game, it makes people play 11 on 11.
Coach, you got to see UCF last year at your last stop. What did you think about them then, and how did that help you come here?
I thought that they were on the verge of being a really good football team last year. We had to stop a 2-point play to win. So I say we. Now they're they. We're we here. But had to stop a 2-point play to win. And, saw it was a very group of talented players that I knew had a good coaching staff. And, like I said, I think it's ready to explode and take off. But, we can't just say that. We got to make it do that. And that takes work. That takes commitment. That takes like I talk about with the players, a daily sense of incremental improvement. You don't just go from here to here. There's a bunch of little steps that you've got to take, and then all of a sudden you look back and look where we came from. So just getting better every day. And I know that sounds really coaching cliché, but that's life. And that's how it goes. And if you want to be successful, that's the recipe for success.
2 days through practice, any new guys standing out? Any leaders that you're catching your eye?
Well, I see that there's some guys that are providing leadership. And the good teams that I've been around, the championship teams, those teams have been player-led. It's not been coach-led. And so trying to develop that and push that. But, up front, you got guys like Lee Hunter and Ricky Barber. And in the linebacking core, some of our transfers, our grad transfers are doing a good job there. And in the secondary, there's some experience back there. So, got a guy like Kai Martin back there doing a good job. Had a pick 6 today.
What do you want to see out of this linebacker group in the springtime between the holdovers and obviously the additions in the transfer portal as well?
Yeah, I want to see them learn the defense, command the defense, have a command of the defense with the rest of the players, and be able to execute when they're tired, when it's hot, when it's play 97. It doesn't matter because the core of everybody's defense is the linebackers because they're tied. They're tied to everything. They're tied to the front. They're tied to the stunts. They're tied to the blitzes. They're tied to the coverage. So for them to be able to learn it and to command it and execute it at a high level on a daily basis.
What is it about Gus? Gus has a history of, obviously the staff is full of coaches that he's worked with, people that he's maybe met along his coaching career. What is it about Gus that he gets he brings guys in, familiarity, brings guys that he's able to maybe kind of put around him to have success?
Well, I think that, in this business, it's not just one person. It's so much about everybody and people that, that you trust, because there's so many coaches out there. Supply and demand. There's a million coaches that would love to coach here at University of Central Florida, but guys that have a relationship where he's seen something that he liked and he believes in, that he brings on board. And like I said, I'm blessed to be a part of it.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about your philosophy? You said being aggressive, willing to commit however many defenders to stop the run, but how do you balance that with not being, I guess, overly aggressive, where you kind of leave those guys in the back end kind of out to dry?
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. It is a blend, and so much of it too is about the pre-snap picture, because if you give your intentions away, you're going to get sliced up. Because now it's not like the quarterback's making the checks; it's the coach in the press box that's making them going down to the sideline. So they're seeing they're seeing what the defenses are doing, and then checking the play accordingly. So to be able to disguise our intentions, but at the same time, scheme's important, but it's not about scheme. It's about players being confident and knowing what to do, and then doing it full speed and doing it with reckless abandon. And that's what wins football games. Not schemes, it's techniques and fundamentals, and players that execute at a high level, straining to do their job the best that they can, and that's all we ask. But we demand every ounce of it.
Obviously, UCF struggled against the run last season. But are there any other goals that you want to make with this defense? I mean, anything that wants to set you guys apart from the rest?
There's certainly, yeah. I mean, we got goals in every aspect of our game. We got takeaway goals, we've got points per possession goals, we've got red zone goals. Every fake, because all those things, they put this big thing together called winning and losing, and to have goals in each area, because you've got to give our players okay, what's our standard, and then hold them to the standard. So that way they got you got to understand what the standard and what the expectation level is, to achieve that. So you're working to do that on a consistent basis, and that's what wins for you. So we have goals in every area and standards, and that's how we do it.
Individually, how do you feel like you fit in with the defensive staff, considering that there's a few holdovers and Addison was in this position last year?
Well, you'll have to ask them that. But I feel good. I feel it's been a seamless transition. I've been very impressed with them, and they're good. They're good men and good coaches, good teachers, and like I said, it's a great group, and I'm excited about being a part of it.
Can you feel the presence of these incoming transfers? A lot of these guys have played 4 or 5 years at other schools. Ethan Barr was a guy I know you coached a few years ago. Guys like Ladarius Tennyson, Deshaun Pace. Are you noticing what they bring to the table, being experienced players?
Yes, because here's what you see. Because you've got guys that are at that level of their career, that point in their career. Then you got guys that just graduated from high school. Okay, and what we're trying to, because the guys that just graduated from high school, they don't know what they don't know. Okay, the guys that have been doing this a long time at a high level, they know what they don't know. So we're trying to get those guys to hitch their wagons on how to do it to the older guys to help accentuate and facilitate that process speeding up. Because we want everybody leaving here this spring or this summer where having a good understanding, be able to execute, and feeling like they've got a chance. And part of it is learning what to do. But like I said, guys that have been, you're different at 23 years old than you are at 17 or 18. That's just how God makes you, and that's just how it is. So, but to give them good role models and good examples of that's what it's supposed to look like. Go do that. Whenever he's doing that, you do that with him. And at the same time, college football is harder than it ever has been at building a team right now because of the transfer portal. Okay. And part of it is the guys that coming in with the right attitude, an attitude of humility, that they've got to earn the respect of their teammates. And at the same time, it's guys that are already here saying, if that guy's here for the right reasons and he's trying to help us, to make us better, there's got to be a certain amount of welcoming there too. So it's a combination of all that. But building this thing called team is harder than it's ever been because, like I said, of the comings and goings.
Along those lines, you get a guy like Deshaun Pace, who's got a lot of versatility, who can play linebacker, play safety, do a little bit of everything. How important is that to see some versatility in some of those guys to be able to maybe mix and match and move guys around?
Oh yeah, it's certainly critical, because our job as coaches is to get the best group on the field. And right now, I don't know what that group is. We've got we've got a lot of spring practice to go. We hadn't even been in pads yet. So to be able to watch guys hit guys, because tackling is still the number one fundamental in football. Regardless of how everybody else tries to, it's about tackling the guy with the ball. And, I want to see that before I make statements on this, that, and the other. I want to see that because we're going to get our guys that tackle the guy with the ball on the field. So I'm not trying to oversimplify, but that's what it is.
So you're a veteran. You're an older guy now. Do you
Yeah.
feel like that going into the spring?
No, I don't. I don't at all. But, I mean, looking around in the room, we got a lot of young guys. I'm like, dang, I guess I am one of the old guys now. So
When you think about that, is that something you're trying to maybe work on, leadership and just being there for the younger guys who are going to be looking up to you?
yeah, for sure. One-on-ones with the young guys, just talking to them, giving them tips and everything like that. I feel like I do a good job. But as a group, coach is stressing me this offseason. Be more vocal. Just as when I was younger and everything, as far as leadership goes, I kind of like led by example, and now I'm trying to step into that role of being more vocal.
Xavier, you get a new quarterback in KJ. What has he brought to this offense, and what have you guys been talking about as receivers and quarterback? What's worked out for you guys?
Yeah, he brings, like Randy said, some versatility. Just like John, he can throw and run the ball, but he seems like he's going to stay in the pocket a little bit more and trust in his arm a little bit more. So having trust in us to be where we needed to be. So that's just going to be a little different.
A lot of people talked about Burdell this spring so far. You also added Jordan Bridgewater and Kason Stokes. How the freshmen really came in and competed? Yeah,
all of them, they're doing a really good job. Burdell coming out first day and second day, making plays, Kason as well, and Bridgewater, So Bridgewater is mainly in the slot, so I've been able to talk to him, one-on-one more. But, Kason and Burdell, they're both from Tampa, so I've known them for a little while. So, whenever they have a question, they come to me. So, it's good because I have some type of different connection to each one of them, so I'm able to talk to them on a personal level.
How much growth do you expect this season from the last?
A lot. You said growth, right? Yeah, man, a lot. Just we're getting a lot of guys back. So guys who've had experience, in the Big 12, so we know what to expect. Bringing guys from other schools who've played it as well at the high level. So just bringing them in, meshing together. That's going to be huge for us to compete.
You mentioned Burdell's from out your way in Tampa. So how much did you know him before he came onto campus, and what do you like most about his skill set as he becomes part of this offense?
Yeah, I've known Burdell for a long time. We used to train together and everything like that back in Tampa. So Burdell got hands. I feel like that's his biggest skill set. When the ball touches hand, it's usually not going anywhere. So I think that's his biggest skill set, in my opinion.
Zach, can you talk a little bit about the extra work you guys are putting in? You got a lot of different pieces like young receivers, older, more experienced receivers, a new quarterback. Can you talk a little bit about like the off the field work that you guys are kind of putting in outside of what we're seeing on the practice fields?
Yeah, we're always putting in work. This off season, everything. After lifts and everything, we all go out, get ready to run routes. So that we know exactly where to be. Where the quarterbacks are expecting us to be, different coverages. Hey, we want you to sit in this zone, or no, it's man. So run through the route, different tempos and everything like that. So the extra work that we put in, it definitely helps, and it will help when it's time to play in the games.
Last year you talked a lot about your development as a true receiver. You now kind of established yourself at the position. Is that something you take into trying to help other guys, like younger players, like I did this to develop more?
Yeah, for sure. And I still feel like I have a lot more work I need to do as well. But just like those guys, just telling them, hey, this worked for me, or hey, this might not have worked for me. So just taking what I've done and passing it down to them as far as like just like the older guys have done for me. They've told me, hey, this works for me. This may not work for you, but try it out and this and that. So just really just experimenting and stuff like that. So
Xavier, how much has Coach Kinsey helped you guys in the weight room this offseason?
Yeah, he's helped a bunch. It's it's different than the workouts we've past have, but they're both good. But Coach Kinsey, he really emphasized getting stronger and everything, but also how that translates to the field. Being able to use that strength that we're getting in the weight room and putting it onto the field. So I mean, it's been really good.
I know it's only been a couple of days of practice, but who has impressed you? Who has looked good? Maybe a couple guys, young guys, returning guys. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll say some young guys. Like we said, Burdell, he's impressed a lot of people. Chasing the DB, he's done a really good job as well. And just some of the older guys is coming back. BJ, he's looking really good right now, and I think all the receivers, Bake, he's looking really good as well. It's Chauncey, and of course, Kobe and everybody. So I mean, everybody's looking pretty good right now.
Last question for you.
Zay, can you talk a little bit about? Tim Harris. Tim Harris, he was in this role, running back coach. Now he's back as a wide receiver coach. I know he's a great person, but how is he fitting into that wide receiver room, and kind of what is his coaching style now that he's actually your direct position coach?
Yeah, like you said, he was a running back coach my freshman year, so I only saw him in that running back light. So for him to come back, I was definitely a bit skeptical about everything. But from as far as what I've seen so far, he's a really good football coach, and he knows receivers as well. So I mean, he's been teaching me a lot of new things I've never even thought about. He's broadening my mind as far as the way I'm looking at their position. So I mean, he's done a really good job.
Lee, how's it going? Good. So how are you feeling, this spring? Now, you've got a lot of experience. You're one of the returning veterans. Are you feeling like one of those returning vet leaders out there?
No, I'm feeling good. I'm just really learning on just becoming a better student of the game. God bless me with the football ability. I still work on my craft, but just continue to get better on the football, staying a student of the game, the mind part.
Lee, when you look at a new coach, defensive coordinator, Ted, we've obviously just heard speaking from him. What has he brought to your guys' unit, and what do you expect out of this group going forward?
Koru. I mean, we still going through. We had 2 full days of spring, but so far it been good.
Lee, obviously you were much improved last spring, probably the MVP of the last spring from most of your teammates. What do you bring into this spring now that you're established as a leader?
Just better energy, learn how to communicate to my teammates, and just become a better student of the game so I can help others.
How much of an emphasis has it been already through the first 2 days of practice to stop the run?
It's been cool. Just keep better, keep learning.
Well, how would you describe the group of defensive tackles? It seems like it's one of the most experienced position groups on the entire roster.
I mean, you could describe us because you've seen it with your own eyes. So that's what I say.
Lee, what has Coach Kinsey, strength coach, brought to you guys, your group? And I also understand that Coach Mo has been working some MMA-style training with you guys to maybe help out. How has that been for you guys this sophomore season?
I mean, that was a big step. Like, if you look at our team energy, it come from the training room, the weight room, the walking in the building. The energy come from Coach Kinsey. Great at what he do.
Lee, you guys have been out on the field for 2 days. I know you haven't gotten pads on, but who has impressed you? Whether it's a returning guy, freshman, a transfer, who's been looking good out there?
For what I've seen is 27, the freshman cornerback, Chase. Chase looked very good as a freshman.
What of the offensive linemen have you kind of liked going against this spring? Obviously, you guys aren't full ready, but what are their strengths?
I mean, our offensive line, we got a great offensive line. Returning guys, everybody just coming back to get better. But
anyone specifically that you?
I say the whole unit.
Okay.
Like all 8 of them, or 10, 5 plus 10, all 10 of them.
Lee, what's kind of driving you guys as a team this spring? I know last season didn't end the way you guys wanted to. You guys want to, compete in the Big 12 for a championship. So what are kind of, I know you're looking at the day-to-day improvement of spring, but what are you guys working towards? What kind of goals do you have for this season?
Just learning how to communicate with each other, learn how to help each other, learn how to be there for each other. Just keep working, learn how to communicate with your teammates. That's about it.
Do you guys feel like you have a chip? Excuse me. Do you guys feel like you have a chip on your shoulder from how last season ended?
Yeah, I feel like we do. Nobody want to lose 6 and 7. What's that the record? 6 and 7. So, yeah.
Lee, can you talk about some of the off the field things you guys are doing, and like you say, build that camaraderie, that community amongst each other off the field?
Yeah, we'll probably be in the end on Saturday morning. Probably step out later that day, do something. Probably go eat lunch or something like that together.
When did you find out Ricky Barber was choosing to return for his last year, and what was your reaction when you did find out?
I don't too much want to have that conversation. That between me and Five. But when I found that out, I told him, let's go. Let's go. We're going to enter that thing together and be great together. We're going to work and get better together.
Last question for Lee here.
Lee, what did you guys find out in your first season of the Big 12? What stood out to you about the Big 12 and playing in it?
For me, really, or for us, really, is that conference more physical than what a lot of folks think. In my opinion, like this is a physical conference, but it's a blessing to be able to play in it.
Just kind of talk about your UCF career a little bit, because some guys come in and they play right away. That wasn't the case for you. I think you came in and redshirted your second year. I don't know if you played a whole bunch, but then last year, was your breakout year. So just kind of talk about, was it just a process of getting more comfortable with college, or just what kind of led to that season you think you had last year?
I feel like what led to it was really like just those years that I was like out and not really playing, just watching. So like just taking that in. So getting mental reps. Mental reps is definitely important, I say. So just getting those mental reps and like just saying like if I was in the game, how would I do that? And that's really how the breakout year started. Like just getting those mental reps and translating it actually to the game and being like, oh yeah, now it works. So stuff like that.
Was there a highlight for you last year that stood out? And what can you take from that first year in the Big 12?
Probably the Oklahoma sack stood out. And probably because it was just packed, the biggest capacity stadium I've ever been in. And what was your question? What was the?
Just what stood out in general about the Big 12?
Oh,
you thought?
The size of the tackles. Like they're not 6'3", 6'4" anymore. They're all 6'6", 6'7". But going against Paul, it just makes it much easier because like we go against somebody who's 6'10" every day, so we're just used to it. Yes, sir.
Obviously, Drop is now moved on to the preparing for the NFL. What did he help teach you, and what was it like being able to play across from him, getting to learn?
He taught me like a lot of the pass rush skills. Like I seen like he's flexible, so I'll go home and stretch, try to get as flexible as I possibly can because that matters, like just doing the bending and all that. And playing across from him was amazing because, like, I would try to take off some of the double teams he'd get, like, with the tight end and the tackle, and he'd do it for me. So it kind of, like, balanced each other out because they didn't know what side to really get. So I enjoyed that.
How important is growth for you this spring practice going into the season?
It's really important. Just trying to get better, perfect my craft, work on my steps. We're not standing up anymore, so just working on my three-point stance and my sixth step, really, my technique. That's
any vocal leadership growing vocally?
Yeah, that's what I need. I'm working on my vocal leadership too, because I had Josh Seliscar and Drop in front of me, and they were already here, and they were two leaders, as Josh was a captain. So just working on, I didn't really have to be as vocal, but now I'm the head guy of the room, so I have to step up and be more vocal, so I'm working on that.
Malachi, can you talk a little bit about the transition from becoming just like a third down pass rush specialist to now like every down where you have to play the run, you have to take along a little bit more of those, pulling linemen and things like that where it's not necessarily like a pass down. Can you tell me the adjustment that you're making as a defensive end in that facet?
Right, yes, sir. Just getting stronger, really, and working on, like I said, my technique and leverage because that's really what matters. Like when the pulling guards come in, I can't just be standing high and tall because they're going to knock me off. So I got to really focus on my leverage this year. That's really what it is.
What's Coach Roof been like? Seems like a fiery guy. We saw him today or the other day for the first time. Even in Scally, he's pretty fired up. What's that transition been like? I know you guys are loyal to Coach Williamson, but what's that like?
It's good. Coach Roof, he's a funny guy. He's a funny coach. He comes in, he's about his business. He already stated a philosophy that we have, so we already have a standard. So we're just trying to maintain that. Not trying to maintain. We're gonna maintain that standard and go above that standard. So Coach Russo, I like him. Pretty good coach.
You were a shot put guy in Kentucky, right?
Yes, sir.
How did that help you as an edge rusher and defending the run? Obviously, a lot of strength.
Right, just explosiveness. Really, like you can be the strongest person, but like it doesn't matter. Like I said, technique matters a lot too. Like you can just go out there and throw it and be strong, but for shot put, it comes with technique. Like you have to get your right stance, get your right legs, like feet set up, so stuff like that. So it's been pretty good on my explosiveness.
Every game. So what did you learn? Like, what was last season like for you?
Last season was amazing. Just being able to be a young guy that like contributed to just winning and help developing people as a whole, offense and defense. Just being able to be a guy that could come in when someone's down or we need an extra guy, being willing to step in on special teams or anything like that. It was just very big for the character that I am.
Randy, you get a chance to first couple practices with KJ. What has he brought to this team, and how do you feel like he can fit well into this offense?
He's brought a lot of versatility. He's definitely a big guy, as y'all can tell. He can run well, he can throw the ball well, but he's really taking in the leadership role, like as an offense, just bringing everyone together, making sure everyone's on the same page, making sure that everything is A, B, C throughout the whole board. So just being together as a whole and being a unit.
Randy, the tight end room is a little shaken up from where it was last year. Obviously, you were the young guy. Now I think you have the most yards in that room out of anyone. What's it like, obviously, early spring practice?
It's been well. Last year was last year, but now it's just time to get better now. We got Colin Fox came in, just trying to give some of the game to the young guys and guys that haven't had as much on the field time as me, just trying to be there for them and teach them some of the things that I've learned from previous players that we've had.
What are some of the major things that you're looking to improve on this spring practice?
I'm looking to improve on my blocking and also my leadership. Just like being a young guy, embracing the leadership role. Thinking about being here for the future. I want to build those type of characteristics now. So I'm really looking forward to being a leader.
How would you compare this time last year coming into spring ball as a true freshman to where you are right now? Like the feeling you have about where you are in this team and just the preparation for spring.
I'm definitely confident. I come out every day, though. I'm respecting everyone's game. I'm just trying to come out and compete, play as hard as I can, and just give what I got.
Randy, I know it's only been 2 days, but are there any guys kind of standing out to you, either offensive, defensively, that kind of coming in and stepping into a new role who you feel like can help us in the fall?
Yeah, Bradell Richardson, Colin Fox, Lee mentioned Chasen. Chasen is a defensive back. Those guys have been looking really well. They've been moving really well on the field. I've been with those guys a little bit off the field. They're great guys off the field also.
What went into the number change? I saw you went from 13 to 5.
I was originally a single digit in high school. 13 was kind of a freshman thing. So I like a single digit. So I made the decision to try to switch to a single digit.
From the way the season ended last year compared to now, what are some of the things that as a team that you guys are working on, and what's going to set you guys apart?
Just being there for each other, and we're gonna focus hard on just having guys that we trust out there. Everyone, like I said, everyone has to be on the same page. As a whole, just being there for each other, making sure that we're all thinking the same. We all want to be able to think like KJ, know what KJ is doing, so we're all expecting the same things, and nothing's different across the board.
Randy, when you look back at last season, what was kind of maybe a big moment for you, a turning point when you kind of rewind last year in your head? Did you have a big game or a big play? What do you kind of think about when you think about your freshman season?
When I think about my freshman season, I definitely think about the catch against Oklahoma. That's really one of my biggest plays, to this day, in any stadium. It was 3rd and long, keep the game going. It was just one of the biggest plays I made in my life.
Randy, you talk about being a true freshman and then kind of taking some of the younger guys this time around under your wing. What has your advice been to them? I mean, you've experienced this stuff. What are you telling them that they got to look forward to going into this spring practice?
Talking about guys like Colin, just helping him grow as an athlete, because a lot of things that you come to college and you try to do, you just never done before. So it's difficult. It may be uncomfortable. Just getting him used to being able to bend and move and use his hands, different stuff like that, just to improve his game and make him an elite player.
Randy, coming in last year, you guys Coach Malzahn took a bit of a step back on the play calling. This year, he's actually taking those reins back. Can you feel the difference in the flow of the offense now that Coach is calling the plays?
Yeah, there's definitely a difference. Like during offensive meetings, he's making sure everybody's on the same page. Everyone's thinking like a coordinator. KJ's thinking like a coordinator, and not everybody's thinking like KJ. So we're all on the same page there.
You stepping up in the tight end position adds to speed. How fast is this offense?
It's fast. We definitely move fast. We try to tempo guys as much as we can. Just stepping up, it's been really fast, definitely fast. I just trying to adjust. I'm just, like I said, stepping into that leadership role, just trying to be the guy. So just moving forward.
Jordan Davis has been a player that's dealt with a lot of injuries. What's his presence like being back on the practice field?
He's working back into getting used to putting a lot of load on his leg, but he's getting back and he's feeling better. He hasn't been on the field as much due to injury, like you mentioned. But once he get used to just putting as much load on his leg, he's going to be a great player for us.